Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm reading today for Leo energy and we're doing a little bit of a spooky theme. It's Scorpio season, it's Halloween soon, so I've decided we're going to do something a little bit connected to that kind of energy, and we're going to talk about who you're connected to psychically, who you're connected to beyond the veil in the astral realms, and I'm using some quite spooky decks. So don't get too panicky if anything comes out that's a little bit scary. Just think of it as being like in the dream space rather than in actual reality, and don't let yourself get freaked out by it. And yeah, it may or may not apply. I'm going to read as though this person's you and this is your person or group of people that you're connected to, but flip it and reverse it if needs be, and don't worry about the gender on the cards. Like, however you identify, it's more about the energy and the character. And if it is like, if I'm really strongly getting through like a mother energy like I was in Sagittarius's reading, I will tell you. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed and you would be interested in doing that, it would really help me out at the moment. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so I can't get my words out, because it would help me communicate with some like extra apps and tools that YouTube give you access to at 500 subscribers, so I can kind of like keep you updated on when the readings are going to be, or if there's any delays, and also I can run polls and kind of get feedback that way anonymously. So yeah, take it as you take it as you will. It's up to you if you want to subscribe or not. Oh my goodness. Are you feeling a little bit scatterbrained? I've got kind of a bit of scatty energy coming through. Right, I need to get you a song and I haven't got my phone. Oh my goodness, are you dealing with someone who's like really flustered and disorganized and scatterbrained? Because that's kind of the energy that's coming through. Give me a second. Okay, let's go ahead and get you a song. You've got, I love this, Yes Bitch by Malka Red. Let me just get the lyrics up because they're not actually on Spotify, so I'll have to Google them. So swear warning, a little bit late, but it says the B word in this song. Malka. Okay. I'm trying to find the lyrics. Where can I find the lyrics? Oh, why are they so hard to find? Such a good song as well. Okay, I'm not finding the lyrics. Oh, no, that's not. It's like she's complicated, she's kind of jaded, she's a bad bitch. So go and like, I don't know if you want to like pause now and kind of look it up, and go and watch the video to that or listen to the song. It's a really cool song. It's like, yes bitch, yes bitch, yes bitch, yes bitch, swagger on bitch. So it's like, I don't know, it's like bigging up yourself, bigging up a friend, cheering someone on, something like that. It's like, go girl, that kind of energy. Like she's, you know, saying that, I don't know, just seeing like the bad bitch in everybody and being like, yeah, like rooting for that. Okay, who's Leo? Who is Leo? Temperance, being patient. Okay, being patient. It feels like taking a time out, going a bit slowly, relaxing. I'm getting medication for some of you. It could be like mixing drinks, a bit like being a bartender or something like that, or making cocktails. But I'm seeing like, you know, like getting medication right, like, you know, like measuring out the right amount of liquid I'm getting today from that. So take that if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. It is an energy of alchemy, of taking two elements and turning it into something new. So temperance talks about taking fire and water, which is emotions and passions, and kind of alchemizing those and getting the balance right. And, you know, kind of feeling a situation out in a way. So you may have recently watched the movie that I can never remember the name of that this is from. It's like a prison movie, a prison escape movie. I can never think of the name of it. Yeah, maybe you feel like you've been doing time in a way, like you've kind of like, oh, there's a big noisy car going past. Thinking about my dad at the moment. My dad's a little bit he's a little bit poorly. He's got a little bit of a bad cold and things like this. And I've told him, like, right, you're not going out, you're not going to the pub, you're not meeting friends, you're staying in, you're getting under your duvet and you're watching Netflix until you're better. It's like, you need to rest, you need to take a time out, you need to look after your own health and well-being and do that self-care. And that's kind of what I'm getting from it. It's also Sagittarius energy, so I don't know if you've got Sag in your chart, but we'll see. We'll pull more cards, and remember, this might not be you. You might be over here, and flip it and reverse it if needs be. So what else do we have? Who is Leo connecting with? Page of Coins. So this is kind of like apprentice energy. This is somebody who's coming up with a plan, learning some skills, figuring something out. It's somebody who's really prepared to, like, put pen to paper. You know, they're prepared to do the groundwork of something. So I always do say it's like back to the drawing board energy. It's like somebody who's making a plan, figuring something out, but it's very, very practical. It's not like the Page of Cups, which is more imagination, like, oh, I would love to do this, can you imagine what it'd be like to do this? This is like, all right, I want to go to college, what do I need to do, how do I apply, you know, I want to do this, how am I going to get the money together to do this? So it's very, very practical. So it could also be a child. This is like somebody who's younger, a page. So yeah, somebody who's younger, somebody who wants to learn from you, perhaps. Again, with Temperance and this, like, almost younger person energy, maybe it's somebody that you're having to be very patient with. You know, it's like, you can see that they're trying, you can see that they're working hard, but you need to be patient with them because they are just a page. They are just in the early stages of learning something. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to get there. The Hermit, so Virgo energy on the underlying there. Could be dealing with an earth sign. Okay, let's go. So Leos, who is Leo today? Tell me about Leo. What's going on for Leo? Tell me about my lovely, lovely Leos. Oh, here we go. Okay, a bit much here. Oop. Okay, a lot going on for you. Self-love. What did I say? Remember to practice self-love. Exactly. Like, take the time out. If you need to have, you know, a day off, if you need to go back to bed, if you need to drink some herbal tea, if you need to, you know, not be a yes bitch, but be a, like, a basic witch for the day, like, absolutely fine. Like, she's got her bed there. She just looks like she's doing what she needs to do to kind of look after her body, look after her health, look after her mental well-being, you know, meditate, to kind of do that hermit mode energy of, like, going within, figuring things out. Potion, though, look at this potion. So, like, again, with the like alchemy, or like, I don't know if you're doing something with, like, different liquids. Maybe it is something like herbal tea or making soup or something. Medicine. Obviously, be very, very careful if you're, like, measuring your own medicine, especially if it's like herbal medicine. You want to kind of get it right. And again, maybe that's what you're doing. You're, like, figuring out how to get it right, right? right. Potion, confidence. It comes with time and practice. Yeah, so you're figuring something out. It comes with time and practice. So yeah, you have this, like, figuring out, or like fine-tuning energy. Dragons, slay them all. So I don't know what that's about. Look here as well, you're definitely getting something like medical. She's got, like, a prosthetic limb, but it's not stopping her, right? She's being brave. She's going slaying the dragons. So yeah, somebody could have maybe leg issues, or I am getting, like, medicine. Bitch fire. Yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. There's going to be a lot of the B word, guys, today. I can feel it. Stand up for yourself. Slay them all. Stand up for yourself. Like, light your bitch fire, right? It's like, the dragons probably think she's a bitch, right? But look at them. They're, like, overrunning the castle. Someone's got to sort them out. It's like, do what you need to do. Say what you need to say. Raindrops. Take a chance on them. So again, like, with this person coming in as younger, more of an apprentice, you're told to take a chance on them. I think it may have been Taurus that got this card. I think it was probably one of the earth signs, and they were coming in with this, like, younger energy, and it was almost like an older sibling was coming and kind of, like, taking care of them. So I don't know if that has something to do with your reading at all. Villain, you can always rewrite the story. I'm loving this kind of, like, bad guy villain thing that's coming through. Libra had it. They literally had the song Bad Guy, and then they've been getting that a lot, actually. like recently they've been like coming into their, it's like coming into their best villain energy, right? It's like almost like growing a backbone in a way, or you know, being prepared to not be liked. And it takes some real confidence. And just to say, Leo, you could be teaching this person about this, because Leo is the strength card, which, and the sun card, which both have this element of confidence. And that doesn't mean, I think sometimes people think of Leos as being overconfident, and that's not how the energy applies to Leo. Leo is kind of like hyper aware. And so with a Leo, they could have really bad confidence or really like being overconfident, but it's not like every Leo's got a big ego. It's just that they're very aware of themselves. They really care about like doing things right and feeling proud of themselves. So this is why Leos really need those cheerleaders around them, the people who are saying, you've got this, Leo, you're the best. You know, they need that motivation and praise, and kind of like they need the people who are going to come in and stroke their ego. So I don't know how much you resonate with that, because again, it's not like every Leo is like a narcissist, which I think is like a negative misunderstanding of Leo energy. Leos can actually be very, very sensitive in terms of their own like their own image of themselves. It's like they have a very crafted persona of who they want to be, how they want to project to the world, and it's really important for them to kind of like get that praise to reinforce the confidence that they're trying to build for themselves. So again, it's like it is scary to play the bad guy. It is scary to, you know, do what needs to be done. And this could be like slaying your own demons, right? Your own shadows. So don't let any kind of concerns about your faults. It's like something about being on one leg, right? Don't let any concerns about your faults undermine your confidence. It's like it's almost like, I always say, let me just try and actually do, what do I say? Let me just remember, hold on. Okay, so I have this concept. It's like, in order to be brave, you have to be afraid. You can't be, they're not opposites, they go hand in hand for me. Because say you were going into a situation and you felt no fear, all you had was that kind of like confidence, and there was no fear at all, even though there could be danger there. It's like that's stupidity. You're not brave. Being brave is facing your fears. Being brave is being courageous even though you're scared, right? Being brave is overcoming something. So yeah, there is a difference between when you're confronting your fears, there can sometimes be, especially if it's in terms of like speaking up for yourself, or, you know, expressing something to someone and knowing that that's going to make you the bad person, right? It's kind of like, I know I have to say this, but I know that it's going to have consequences. People are going to think I'm a bitch, I'm the villain. So it's like what is being slain here is your own concerns with what people think of you, and learning to defeat those demons and be who you authentically are, and find the kind of confidence that comes with, because there's like a sword on this confidence bag, right? So it's talking about the kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are, being comfortable with that, and not caring what other people have to say. So it's fascinating because Sagittarius had this whole thing about the rewriting of Disney villains. So if you think about, I was talking specifically about Cruella de Vil and the Cruella movie, but there's all these different, there's all these books and films available now. Like Ursula, I know, has like a musical. I wanted to go and see it, but I haven't seen it yet. There's like Maleficent, who has her own story now. So it's like, it's almost like instead of, it's like, what's coming through here? It's like when we think of things as being evil, we actually hand power to it. We're actually, that thing's evil, I don't understand it, therefore it's something to be feared, right? So for example, when people act a certain way that we see as like, oh my goodness, that person did that thing, they're so evil, right? They're giving me, when I was growing up, there used to be a TV show on Channel 4 called The Big Breakfast. And it was like a really silly kind of like morning program, right? It was like a topical morning program. And the the host, it was like Denise Van Outen, and I can't remember the guy's name. I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. They used to like touch their third eye and go evil. No, genius. They used to go genius, genius. So maybe evil genius. And me and my best friend used to do it to each other, and then we both got spots like where our third eye would be, because we kept touching our head. I don't know why that's coming up, but again, it could be something for somebody. Maybe somebody's eating a big breakfast. What am I trying to say here? Sorry, again, I've got this scatter energy to your reading. I think because there's a lot, right? Maybe that you're going through a lot, you're experiencing a lot. So you're trying to take your time with it. You're trying to move through something, perhaps that scares you, perhaps that's bringing out a side of you that you're uncomfortable with, but you know you need to embrace, but you're doing it in a very slow, kind of like testing the waters kind of way. What was I going to say here? I've completely distracted myself. So when we think of something as being evil or someone as being evil, we hand our power over to it. It makes us, it's scary because it's like, it's not understanding it, right? It's scary because it's, how could someone do that? It's scary because it's unfamiliar. So I think what's brilliant in the last, say, 100 years is the developments that we have in criminal psychology and in understanding why people do things, and in the medical fields as well. So I was watching a YouTube video with a brain, like somebody who knows about brains, and he was talking about how people with was it narcissism? I think it was narcissism. There's a part in your brain that makes, I want to say it's like serotonin, and it's something to do with how this part of your brain that kind of contains the serotonin, there's like almost like a duct that the serotonin goes through, and that's what doesn't function properly in people who have clinically diagnosed narcissism. So they're looking now into how they can help people to make that function as it should do. So it's not that the brains don't make serotonin, it's that they don't process it in the way that people who don't have narcissism do. So again, that's from a YouTube video. I'm not a brain surgeon. I'm not a chemist. I don't really know, but it's just interesting that instead of just being like, oh, that person's possessed by the devil, we're now saying, oh, actually that person's acting that way because when we study their brain is functioning in a different way to how we would expect a brain to function. Or if you look at sociopathy, which is more of a learned behavior, you can talk about environmental factors, and then you can say, okay, these two people were born with the same functioning brain. Like, why has this person turned to crime and this person hasn't? Oh, is it because this person had a really supportive family and career prospects where this person had no guidance? So there's a lot like that hand in hand with understanding genetics and the way bodies function and how each bit of our body processes things, and then taking that and like mixing it with actual psychology and the understanding of how monsters are created. It really actually puts the power back in our hands as a society, as a way to say, do you know what? This isn't some kind of supernatural thing to be afraid of. This is something that we can control. This is something that we can address and analyze. And, there may be medication available to help people, fit into society better. Like, it's just understanding people and understanding why people are the way they are. And so I'm really getting that from this, all that from this villain card. You can rewrite the story. It's like talking about having sympathy for the devil. People who are like, it's like, how could you have sympathy for someone who did such a terrible thing? And it's like, well, because look at the circumstances around this. It's not excusing what they did. It's not saying what this person did is right, or Oh, well, I guess they get away with it then because they had a horrible childhood. It's not that. It's saying this person is kind of broken, and maybe we want to try and not fix them, but maybe we want to try and help them help themselves in a way if that person wants to fit into society. And also kind of like I don't know. So I don't know if you feel like your confidence has been knocked because you've been perceived to be some sort of villain. Like you've been perceived to be a bitch in some sort of way. But it's like you have the chance to tell your own story here. So with nostalgia and focus on the here and now, this is almost like, it's looking to me a little bit like somebody explaining their side of the story, somebody explaining why they did what they did, or why they have to, it's like somebody who's saying, maybe it's even saying something like, I have to go and do something now, I know it's going to be unpopular, but it's like, this seems to be like the conversation around the table. And then you've got take a chance on them. So it seems to be your own relationship with your own, it seems to be your own relationship with other people's perception of whether what you're doing is good or bad. Maybe you're very sensitive to people saying that you're the bad, the bad person. There's a lot there. Okay, let's keep going because that's 20 minutes already and these are meant to be 30-minute readings. Tell me about Leo's person, please. This Page of Coins. Page of Coins for Leo. Oh gosh, that's a lot, right? Let's look at what these are, but I'm not going to take them all because they kind of go over to your side where everything is. Paint the sun back to your sky, back into your sky. You already have all the answers and endings are inevitable. Okay. Shush phone, not right now. What is this saying? Hold on, my kids might want me. Okay. Phoenix, how's that for happily ever after? I was getting Phoenix, Arizona as a place somebody may be connected to. How's that for happily ever after? Yeah, they're writing a story, look. It's almost like a ghostwriter. It's funny because I keep on getting these now, I am not exactly Donald Trump's biggest fan, guys, right? But for some reason, Spotify has, their ad, algorithm has suddenly decided that I might be interested in this book about the life of Donald Trump. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm really not. I've got a list, of 1,000 books that I would love to read that are on my reading wish list before I would consider reading a book like that. But again, there's an idea of because I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I don't know how you, the viewer, feels about that. I think everybody can agree he's been a controversial figure. But again, understanding somebody the idea of understanding someone better, understanding the enemy better in a way, understanding their perspective, why they chose the path that they did. Because I think a lot of the time, it's very unusual for someone to be like, I'm going to go out and make bad choices. Normally the choices that people make sense to them. To them, it's the good choice or the best choice they could make in a situation. So understanding why people choose one choice over others can be helpful. But yeah, I'm seeing this as almost like a ghostwriter. I think there is a TV show at the moment as well about a guy and a woman. I watched one episode, a guy and a woman who seemed like they were up to mischief in some sort of way. But the guy has invited a ghostwriter around and he's telling him his story. Felix, how's that for a happily ever after? So I like the combination of you can rewrite the story, nostalgia, right? Thinking about the past. Maybe this person is helping you understand your past self better. Maybe you did see yourself as a villain in a past situation. And actually this person, through something that they're doing, because it's like they're rewriting your story, right? They're flipping the script on the way that you perceive your own actions. Isn't that almost like Ursula? Breaking, like Ursula traps Ariel's voice. Isn't it almost like Ursula breaking her own spell? Realizing that she's done the wrong thing or regretting something that she's done and then releasing. that? Phoenix, how's that for a happily ever after? That's curious. Something curious going on here. It's making me think a little bit of Gemini's reading as well. Okay, so who's Leo? Crocodile. Crocodile came out over here for Sagittarius. So slow moving, calculating. It's almost like the bait is set. It's a very ancient energy. It's a very watchful energy. Moves silently. There is some exploration of your emotions here. I feel like you're exploring your emotions, but you're not really wanting other people to realize that you've got this energy of like preparing to be the bad guy. It's like you don't want to be seen. You don't want people to see you exploring your emotions. You're exploring your emotions, but you're doing it in a way where you're watching others, is what's coming through there. Take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't, obviously. And what's going on over here with Leo's person? Wow, that is too many. It's always darkest before the dawn. Moth to a flame, hyena. That's giving me, so I was talking in one of my readings, I got an intuitive message about, it's almost like, it was almost like predators after a deer, right? Predators after a doe. And there was this confrontation in that, it was kind of like a meditation dream, a confrontation where the hyena was preying on the doe, but the doe was saying to the hyena, you don't want to do that because you need to look at who else is watching. Like, who else wants me, right? Because it's almost like a, what's the word, like a food chain. So it's like, okay, you want me, but who's watching you watching me? Had this weird kind of, like you'd be stupid to make a move on me because you don't know who, there's something, look what's there on the deer on the bottom. It's like you'd be stupid to make a move on me because you don't know if there's a more powerful predator. Yeah, it's like, who's watching you watching me was the way it's coming through. So tell me who this person is, please, a little bit more succinctly. Thank you. Tarantula. Setting a trap, waiting for something to come to it. So again, with that moth to a flame energy, it's like pulling something in here. And again, it's like almost like a magic trick. Like, look at what I've pulled off. There's the hyena and the nightingale. So the cards have come back out again, even though I put them in and they've... So the nightingale is, it's always darkest before the dawn. And you can see here the dark is coming into the light. So hyenas, Gemini energy, very strategic. It's kind of like Seven of Swords energy. Likes to work in the shadows, likes to work behind the scenes. It's that kind of devil energy of like when it's pulled into the light, the deception's seen, right? It's like you've got, the devil works in the dark. So if you pull any kind of like trickster energy into the light, it can't do its magic anymore. Why is it coming through like real kind of like magician energy over here now? Very Gemini. So the tarantula seems to be a trap. This person, again, like maybe check out Gemini's reading. It's like this person's planning a trap to pull some kind of trickster energy to catch it and bring it into the light. It's making me think of, I want to say Libra's reading as well. They had a bonus song and it was Shake It Off, is it? By, not Taylor Swift, by Florence and the Machine. Where it's like, it's hard to dance with the devil on your back, so shake it off. And she says it's always darkest before the dawn. And that's the thing about the phoenix, isn't it? It's like the tower moment's hit and it's somebody rising from the ashes. How's that for a happily ever after? So it's like catching, it's like the Disney princess catching the villain in a net and dragging the villain into the light. It's like, there you go, you can't hide what you've been up to anymore. Fascinating readings. Okay, What's going on between these two energies, Leo and this person that they're connected with? I don't know if you're working together, because again, you've got this kind of like creeping up energy, right? It feels like you're working together to rewrite a story. I wonder if this is some kind of collective thing that we're going to see. You know, like the games that politicians play talking about Donald Trump. You know, this whole thing about people are talking about the Conservative Party leadership, and like we had Liz Truss, and then Boris Johnson was going to come back, and people were saying, was it all just an act? Was it like a pantomime to make us like, you know, to mess with public opinion? So it's almost like it's like a switcheroo in some sort of way. You and this person, you preparing to be the, it's like you're preparing to be the villain that this person's going to catch in the trap. And then this person's going to look like the hero because they caught the villain. It seems like you're both in on it, right? You're both writing this story together. It's like, okay, maybe this is like you're putting on a play or something. It's like, okay, right, you're the bad guy. Or like people don't know you. Like what we're going to do here is I'm going to be like, I've caught the bad guy in the trap, and you're going to be like, yes, I'm the bad guy. And then it's going to make me look like the hero. But when I get into power, I'm going to do you a favor, right? It's like, I'll remember. It's like, you make me look good now and I'll make you look good later. It's got that kind of, because this is like real switcheroo energy. What's the energy between Leo and the person? I'm not saying that you're up to no good necessarily. I'm not saying that you're bad people or anything like that, but you've got this kind of game plan. It's like, I don't know if there's something here about taking out the competition, because it's kind of reminding me of like at the end of Game of Thrones where Daenerys completely decimates that city, right? She completely burns. I can't remember what it's called now. What's it called? I don't know, that the castle, like the seat of power, right? The complete city is like burned to rubble, and then it's like, ta-da, I'm the queen. You know, and it's like the queen of ashes, the queen of nothing. It's like there's no competition. You've taken out all the competition, so now you're the only option. Again, maybe it's something to do with politics, and it's not your, maybe this is something you're watching this play out on like in the public consciousness, but you're tapped into it somehow. Okay, come on, please get explain to me what's going on here between Leo and the person. Leo and the person. Bobbing for apples. Hands tied behind your back, blindfold on, not being able to see what you're doing. And it's like you're fishing. So it's like, what can I catch here? But it's difficult, isn't it? It's really, if you've ever done bobbing for apples, it can be really, really difficult. You've got to have a strategy. You've got to kind of get them up against the side. Bobbing for apples. It's got the energy of like fishing. Okay, I'm going to pull you all, I've got 4 decks of cards. I'm going to pull all the cards to get the energy in between you, and then we're going to like put all the cards together, reshuffle to get the story. So just bear with me while I kind of like get all the cards out. I do want to do it on camera though. Sometimes I do this off camera, sometimes I do it on camera, but going on camera today. Okay. What else, please? Thank you. Yeah, some energy coming out of this deck. Okay. This deck, please. That's like allegations, that feels like. I'm getting this girl is on fire. Again, tying into Gemini's reading quite a lot. Libra as well a bit, as playing the bad guy. Sagittarius had this. It could just be a theme of the week. Okay, what do we have? Let's put everything together. I'm kind of trying to do it in a bit of a higgledy-piggledy way, so that the cards are kind of a little bit mixed up. Okay, medicine. Medicine and leadership. Okay. It's like the cure, the medicine, the cure for bad leadership, repairing leadership problems. That's definitely in the reverse, is it? No. Eight of Swords. Feeling trapped. Somebody who feels very, very trapped. They might not physically be trapped, but this raining down energy, it's got this kind of like, I don't know what to do. My life's took a turn here. So there's emotions, feeling a bit lost, feeling a bit out in the cold in some sort of way, a little bit abandoned or something. That's in the reverse, is it? Page of Swords into the Knight of Swords. So again, with this idea of like preparing to take action. I need more information. I know I have to take action, but I need to collect my thoughts first. I need to come up with a strategy, come up with a plan. I need to perhaps ask people some questions here. I'm trapped. There's this thing about not being able to see. I know I need to do something about this situation, but what do I do? Medicine. So this is actually, even though it looks like the Ace of Wands, it's actually the Ace of Pentacles. So an offer, an opportunity, some money coming in, some kind of, it could be the plan, right? The Page of Coins is coming up with the plan. I get mixed up, it's the caducus, right? Or there's a medicine staff and there's a staff of leadership, and I do get the two mixed up quite often. I have been getting this message about like the venom is also the cure, right? If you think about, to make the anti-venom, you milk the snake. So it's like the same substance is both the medicine and the cure to a situation. The medicine and the cure. Be careful if you're accepting an offer that seems like it's the solution to your problem. And if someone comes in looking like the hero, it's like the answer to your prayers, it's the solution to your problem. It could be some sort of trap, because it's like, did this situation cause the problem in the first place? In which case, why would you trust this person if they were like, I've come up with another plan? It's like, but your first plan got us into trouble. Why would we? And it's like, well, this plan's going to solve the problem. There is some defensiveness here. Again, it feels like allegations of some sort. It feels like somebody having to defend themselves, which is the literal meaning of the Seven of Wands. But again, it's like fighting fire with fire. What you need is water, right? So it's like somebody coming at you who's angry and then replying with anger. It just it makes the situation more fiery. In the end, like, everybody's angry. The intensity of that anger increases. But if you have somebody who walks into that room where everybody's angry, and it's like, let's bring some, let's bring some love into the situation. Let's appeal to people's emotions rather than people's passions. Kind of making me think like, like, I can't pronounce it. I'm terrible with pronouncing things, but like demagogues. It's, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, a demagogue is a person who, they get popular attention. Their platform is based on exploiting the fears of the collective. So exploiting the fears of the group to gain power. So it's a tyrannical based leadership strategy. But again, it feels like, it doesn't feel like more of the same is the answer here. In this case, it's trying to get the upper hand, trying to get the upper ground, trying to get the higher perspective. Queen of Wands, King of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands really understand fire. They understand because they've been the Page of Wands, or they've been the Knight of Wands, and the Page and the Knight of Wands are immature, and they're learning about what fire does, right? And fire is your temper, fire is your passion, fire is your anger. So it's like understanding the destructive, how destructive these parts of ourselves can be, and gaining a higher perspective of the Queen and King of Wands that understands that this is a tool to be used effectively and with intention. So it's no good running around screaming ineffectively. You need to use that temper and turn it into drive and motivation to really get proper results, because you don't want to be the king or queen of a ruined kingdom, right? You don't want to be, you know, there's nothing left to rule there. How is that for a happily ever after? Does this look like a happily ever after? Yes, she's triumphant, but once upon a time there was a bustling city there, and she's just the queen of ruins. I mean, it does open up the opportunity to start again, start afresh. Was it really necessary to burn everything down before you do so? Because that seems to be this person's plan. Where maybe you, with this kind of meditative, again, you're the one here. You're the one coming in with the temperance energy. I'm sorry, I've got a really scruffy hoodie on. I'm just trying to keep warm. So I'm just wearing, like, you know, the stuff that's in my wardrobe that's like, I know that's really scruffy, but it's like cozy and it's nostalgic. Like, I'm not trying to be fancy on YouTube today doing these videos. It's more about the cards. So temperance, and you're coming in with this more patient approach. You seem to be coming in more in this King and Queen of Wands approach of being like older, wiser, more experienced, right? You've been there. You've had these moments, right? You've had these moments where you've burnt it all to the ground and started afresh. You've had your Phoenix moments, and this person seems to be making a plan here, and you seem to be like, do you know what, maybe just putting more fire into this situation is just going to create more of the same results. Maybe we need to mix in a little bit of emotion. Maybe we need to think about people's feelings a little bit here, or appeal to people's better nature. It's like too much of one thing, right? So, oh, Empress, yeah, which is taking you into Empress energy. Now, this could be somebody around you who is a mother figure or a boss, or a divine partner. But I'm seeing it really as, no matter what your gender is, like, you seem to be coming in with a much more gentle touch. This higher perspective, this balanced, patient view, this higher understanding of how situations play out, right? Understanding that life is a soup, and, you know, the way that soup tastes depends on what ingredients you put into it. And so you're fine-tuning life. So moving from the Queen of Wands to the Empress, this is like you leveling up. This is you becoming a better version of yourself. And you really do seem to, again, it's almost like taming the fire. Can you see how she's kind of got that light in her hand? It's like, this is something that you know how to handle. And while this person feels, it's almost like perspective, right? It's almost like that person, I'm surprised the fire ant card didn't come out. That person feels like this is like a big scary thing that's like, it's their whole world. It's like all they can see, all that's in their head is this fire. Where to you, with the outside perspective, you're like, this is a tiny little thing that's easy to handle. Why don't you let me take over with that very patient, understanding, tolerant, calm, like parental energy? Why don't you let me take care of this? Or like, why don't you look at this from my perspective? Because I've got this much bigger view. I'm seeing like the whole picture here, where you're just seeing it. It's like this person's just seeing it from like the center of the ring almost. So here's the Knight of Swords. Here's the person taking action, because we had that card there, right? That person preparing to take action. So it's almost like you're coming in and putting your foot down. You know, you're coming in and saying, look, I'm gonna cut this out, or look, this is an end to this behavior, or look, I'm gonna take your side here, but we're not just gonna go in fighting. We're gonna go in with a strategy. We're gonna go in with a game plan. We're gonna go in and communicate with whoever this person's battling against. You do feel like you're coming in as a protector in some sort of way. It's like, yes, you're joining the battle, but you're doing it with intention, and you're doing it with a different weapon, right? You're doing it with words rather than fists, for example, because you understand, like, more of the same is not gonna solve this problem. It's like shouting at someone who's shouting at you. So the Knight of Wands into the Queen of Wands. I feel like it is meant to be reversed. Queen of Wands into the Knight of Wands, because you were the Queen of Wands here and you're moving into Knight energy. Now, Knight energies take action. So you can be an Empress, a Queen of Wands, a King of Wands, and move into Knight of Wands energy. The Knight of Wands is like the king on the horse, right? The king going into battle. So you are going into battle, right? You are stepping down into that battlefield. You are making your presence known. You're not standing by and letting it play out. There's action being taken on your part. So again, it's like stepping off your throne and getting into the heat of things. So you're engaging in some sort of way. But again, you're doing it, you're not just going riding in. I mean, it is very fast energy. These are the two fastest knights in the deck, the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands. It's swift. But again, I feel like it's planned, because you're planning here. You're preparing, you're planning, you're being patient. So it's like when you go in, you're not going to waste your energy fighting battles that you can't win. You've thought about this. You know how to go into this effectively with purpose and intention. So yes, it's going to be swift, but hopefully that's going to be a good strategy for you. So what else do we have here? And again, I almost feel like you are on this person's side in a way, but you see that their strategy is destructive. Again, I don't know if it's Gemini or something. It's like you see that this person's wasting their energy and they're just destroying everything, rather than, it's like they're not going to get their own way. It's almost like this feels like Five of Swords energy. Five of Swords is like winning at all costs. It's like, as long as I win, I don't care if I burn the kingdom to the ground, as long as I win, right? So maybe Aries as well. Page of Wands. So there's be careful that you don't get, again, this could be you going in and almost like rescuing this person, scooping this person up. But I kind of feel like there is a descent into, it's almost like stepping down to their level. Be really, really careful if you're going in and engaging, that you don't lose your patience and kind of step down to their level. I do feel like you're almost just showing your face though as well. It's like if you have a huge amount of firepower in whatever way that means to you, with like that Empress energy, it's like all this fire is just a tiny little blip to you, because you're used to handling so much more, right? You've got the expertise to handle so much more. So it's almost like, if you want to say this, imagine this was a firefighter, imagine this was like a trainee firefighter and they were going into their first real house fire, and to them it's like there's smoke everywhere, there's flames everywhere, it's really disorientating, it's really scary, because they're a novice, right? It's like their first actual job. Like, no matter how much training and planning they've had, to actually be in the heat of it is a very, very disorientating, scary moment, where you're the chief firefighter. You've put out 500 of those house fires. You know, that house fire that's so scary to that person is nothing to you. You're like, just blow on it, right? It's like a birthday candle to you. So, because you've handled so much worse, right? So maybe maybe your organization has come under fire in some sort of way. Maybe your family, your community is dealing with some kind of crisis here, where it feels like you're coming in with this leadership energy and saying, I know what to do here. I know how to do this effectively. So you stepping onto, it's almost like you stepping onto the battlefield. It's like you only have to show your face, and like everybody else it's like everybody's in this room waving torches around, like waving. It's like everybody's here waving matchsticks around, trying to threaten each other with matchsticks. Like, oh, this is a matchstick, it's scary. Everybody's like, I've got I've got a candle, right? But you step in with a dragon, and it's like everybody else is like, okay, and it's like you don't even have to light your match. You don't even have to, you know, say Dracarys. Just your sheer authority stepping onto that battlefield or stepping into that room is enough to make everybody else go, oh, okay, Leo's here. And maybe, but just don't fall into their level. Don't get into the scrap, because the scrap it's like beneath you, right? Because you've mastered it. You've mastered whatever this is, absolute mastery. It's like you've tamed all the dragons. Okay, what else, please? It's like the dragons are like, oh, the boss is here. Okay, Queen of Cups. And then you come in and you don't have, this is the thing, you don't have to light your match. You don't have to say Dracarys, right? You don't, yes, you've got that power, you've got that skill, you've got that mastery, but you don't have to use it because you recognize that the situation has too much fire already. You're coming in with the Cups energy and like, look at this guy. Doesn't he look like the leader strolling into the room? It's like he just, his body language, he's carrying that feeling of authority. And what he's coming in with, and it's saying Queen of Cups, it's Queen to King. It's interesting, it says Queen of Cups, it's got a guy on this card, but it's like coming in, as I was saying here, he's mixing fire and water, and you start here with too much water actually. It's like going from too much water to too much fire, but it's like you can utilize both snakes, right? Because it's the mixing of these two that's creating the remedy. So if there was too much fire, it'd be too much anger. If there's too much water, it's too much emotion. It's making me think of old medicine. Again, I'm getting a lot of medicine, and I have been getting that somebody might be studying medicine. Sometimes I see like, it's like anatomy books. So I feel like somebody's actually studying to kind of like get a doctor's certificate or medical license or something like that. But it's like, when people used to talk about the four humours, so what is it, like bile, something else, blood, bile, plasma, something like that, and it's like getting the humours in balance. So bringing water into a situation where there's too much fire actually diffuses the situation. So bringing in the emotion, making people connect to their heart space. But even like, because it's the king showing on this cup, even though it's the Queen of Cups, it's the king showing. The king is more reserved than the queen. The queen could go in and be like, here's how I feel about this situation, let me express myself. The kings, and again, it's not so much about gender, it's about the meaning of the card. The king is like, has really deep feelings, but understands that words can often be succinct to be more effective. So it's like saying the bare minimum. Like, again, it just has this feeling of like just showing your presence is enough. And then what do we have here? Oh, tried to jump out of my hand. Okay, I don't know. Ace of Wands and the Six of... This is going to bring success. Ace of Wands. So it's almost like once that fire's been put out, because look how it's like locked down. Once that fire's been put out, you're going to... Again, it's like rising from the ashes. So it's got this kind of like, let's start again energy of like, okay, we had to lock our hearts away in this situation, because remember, you start with like emotions being locked up. It's like, let's relight this. Let's open this back up again in terms of like opening up the heart space, opening up what people are passionate about. So it's almost like getting everybody to sit down and have maybe like a group discussion where it's like this, whatever this is that kind of like kicked everything off here. It's like, let's get everybody back in the room with the heart space open. And then we're going to like look at this, whatever this wand is, we're going to look at this again. but from an emotional place rather than from an angry place. So talk about how you feel about this new creative opportunity, because again, there's an opportunity here, there's an opportunity here, it's new. So there's this new thing coming up. Let's talk about it like without the anger, but with our own feelings. So rather than being like, you did this, you did that, be like, I feel this about this situation, I feel this, right? It's going in with a different tactic. And then this is success, right? It has an energy of reaping what you sow. But again, it's like, if you've come in as a kind of moderator, I feel like you've kind of, you're getting some recognition for being somebody that can come into the middle of an argument with a huge amount of authority as the Empress and the Queen of Cups. And you have a unique ability to unlock people's hearts, unlock everybody's ability to be empathetic, everybody's ability to understand each other's feelings about the situation. Is like, well, why are you angry? Let's talk about why you're angry. What do you feel? Like, what happened that, you know, rather than just throwing stones. And it's bringing you success. So I don't know what to say. This works out really, really well, Leo. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Do look out for double numbers. I'm seeing a lot of double numbers around your reading. So like 50, 55, 33, whatever. If you're seeing that, it could be a symbol. But don't fall for this person's trap. If this person's trying to almost like goad you, it's almost like getting the king to step down, like getting the king or queen or the emperor or empress to step down off their throne and join the battle. It's almost like they're trying to get you to step down to their level. And it's like, yes, you might be joining the battlefield, but you're still doing it with this huge amount of like patient authority. Like this is, again, it's like, you know, like how Morgan Freeman, you always like, I don't know if this is Morgan Freeman, by the way. I don't actually know that. I need to say at this point, I've got face blindness, so I have a lot of trouble recognizing people in general. And I don't know who this is. So it's like when Morgan Freeman sort of plays God, or like he's just Morgan Freeman's screen presence, right? He just has this kind of like fatherly, like calm authority with a little twinkle in his eye. He just oozes that kind of, I want to know who this is now. Is it Shawshank Redemption? Oh my god, did I get the film? I've got a terrible memory. Is it Shawshank Redemption? Let me see now. The Shawshank Redemption. If it's Morgan Freeman, I'm going to be so happy with myself because I'm really bad at recognizing people. It's Morgan Freeman. Oh my god, yay. Yay. Really pleased with myself. Like, I'm gonna cry. My face blindness used to be really, really bad. Especially when I was kind of drinking too much. And again, I wasn't like alcoholic, but I did drink too much, and it does alcohol like blocks receptors in your brain. So when I became aware that I had face blindness and I really started to work on it, it's getting a lot better. And it's like my memory system as well. Your memory system's bad if you drink too much alcohol. So, you know, seeing the improvements to my memory and my facial recognition, and understanding that's connected to my health and like my nutrition. Yeah, so sometimes if I recognize someone, I can feel so proud of myself for recognizing them. It literally makes me cry. So yeah, I'm having one of those moments now where I'm like, it's like patting myself on the back for recognizing someone. I'm like really pleased with myself. Okay, I think you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna like wrap it up there because I'm embarrassed now. Do take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon, friends. Bye bye.